Microphone keep going out. The connectivity is suspect right now. I'm gonna see if I can try to connect it to the headphones on my head. Yep, if that works. If dump all of my content that I have queued up. Let's see. All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. Have no fear. My crown is still on my head. All right, we're gonna go fast. Okay, so today was day 7. Um, and it wasn't just the ordinary day for training camp, right? It's day 7, and Shedeur things. What was noticeably different today? He got the opportunity to have first team reps uh, with just the defense, first team defense reps, not the offense and defense, but just the defense. So it was essentially second team offense, right? Second team offense and first team defense. Again, I'm not sure why they did it that way. My question was, well, I'm just gonna say it feels like posturing to me. It feels like posturing because the owner of the Browns is taking heat for his comment regarding Shedeur Sanders and them not wanting him, basically. See, this is what the owner did yesterday. He basically affirmed the reason Shedeur was being treated the way he was treated. We don't want you, we don't value you, by the head coach who told Shedeur God works in mysterious ways, but still decides to hold him back. By the GM who pre-drafted him extensively, who said, we know Shedeur is going to outwork his draft stock. Shedeur is being treated that way because culture starts at the top. I didn't pick Shedeur. I didn't want Shedeur. Remember, March 31st, the owner himself pivoted away from Shedeur. Now, never forget, before the combine, see, the owner is doing what the NFL is doing. The owner's in line with the NFL. And the people on the ground thought they could do their job. And because Stefanski and Barry pre-draft with Shedeur extensively, one thing is clear. We looked at that yesterday, that Shedeur is going to be their second pick in the draft. Right? Even Shedeur said he plays PS5 with the Browns. He was actually in Vegas when he said that. So whatever the date was of the video, Shedeur plays with the Browns, I'm pretty sure it might possibly align with the pivot, right? So the owner affirmed and aligned with the way Shedeur is being treated. Because why? Culture starts at the top, sir. Culture starts at the top. What did I say? The Tennessee Titans are being nice to Cam Ward after their coach went on the record to make Cam appear difficult. Then somebody took it upon themselves to put a noose, which is a threat against a black person, leave it at the site of the new Tennessee Titans stadium. Tennessee Titans don't have a good track record with black quarterbacks. Apparently, somebody realized that the head coach was using coded language that he didn't care for Cam. So, just like the prank against Shedeur, people who knew that Cam was not welcome decided to take it upon themselves and try to humiliate Cam by putting the noose at the site of the Tennessee Titans stadium. And now they're being nice to Shedeur. Now nice to Cam. Now they're being nice to Cam. You hear them talking about Cam more and more and more, right? This is the most I've heard them talk about Cam. Not a coincidence. It went from the coach using coded language, putting him down, saying he's difficult. Somebody puts out a noose, and now we're being nice to him because they created a problem, much like Tennessee has created a toxic workplace environment for Shedeur. See, people were confused as to why Stefanski was holding back Shedeur, because what did the owner tell you? Stefanski deals out the reps right after I tell him, I need you to hold Shedeur back. Remember, he was taken off the board, so we can't let him get to the front of the line. We locked him out of the first round for a reason. So essentially, Stefanski and Barry were being good little boys and following the culture set by the owner with the lack of support. We don't want you. We don't value you. because the owner did not. Now, what the owner's problem is, that's probably going to take another video. But I'm going to just go ahead out on a limb and say it's probably the same problem that the New York Giants have. When the New York Giants got Russell Wilson, they were not expecting him to be their starting quarterback. They really thought Jackson Dart was that guy because maybe Eli Manning recommended him and we trust you. Or maybe they knew he wasn't going to be that guy and they don't care. And they're going to let Russ work hard to deliver a winning season and they're going to hand it and turn it over to Dart and he just going to blow it up. That's essentially what happened in Cleveland. See, Cleveland mimics other teams. See, they want to get the star out in Brook Park. Like they want to be like the Dallas Cowboys and they want to get themselves a star. The average home value in Cleveland is $200,000. So this must be for all of Ohio. This must be for all of Ohio because you're going to need all of Ohio. If the average median home value is $200,000. So you don't give a damn about those fans because they can't come out here and spend that money. You moving over there because you're trying to get closer to maybe some of that Cincinnati money. I'm assuming they got it. Right? And I'm not making fun of anybody's socioeconomic status, but that is why they're getting the hell out of Cleveland. They want what Jerry Jones had. And now they want to behave, or they've been behaving lockstep, not wanting a young black quarterback to lead them to victory. When has it ever happened? And look at how many quarterbacks they have had. The track record is poor with black quarterbacks. Deshaun Kaiser was all kind of workplace negligence, 0 and 15. He even said it. I was getting worse and worse, and they left me out there. Guess who they pitted him against? A black head coach? Remember, there are no black offensive coordinators in the NFL. So it's not hard to believe that when an NFL insider told Mel Kiper Jr. the NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now, it's not hard to believe because they don't want no black head offensive coordinators either because they have 0. They have 0. It's not hard to believe that the NFL is stacking black quarterbacks on the same team, which means Shedeur Sanders will likely be traded to a team where he could be stacked with a black quarterback. Why he can't go to Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy? Why he can't go to the Rams behind Matt Stafford? Why he can't go to Buffalo behind Josh Allen? Why he can't go to Detroit behind Jared Goff? Or San Francisco behind Brock Purdy? The team that people are saying he should be traded to is the Jets. He will be the 3rd black quarterback with the Jets. The 3rd. So they're going to pit them against each other. But J.J. McCarthy is safe, even though he has 0 time, 0 seconds of film in the NFL, and they're ready to hand him the keys. But Shedeur can be kicked and mistreated. And a toxic environment is laid out for him, not to thrive, but to doubt himself, to quit, to fail. Y'all heard that? Lord ain't playing. That was an amen. Did y'all see that lightning strike? So, fans already trade Shedeur Sanders now. The media trade him to the Jets. I heard Riddick say that bloggers and podcasters, I'm going to go with me also, in addition to the others, were talking about this. They started talking about it. They called out the Browns. I told y'all they stood on the Browns' head. They called out Haslam. And now the Cleveland media is in their feelings saying Haslam didn't say that. Oh, no, that's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. See, people thought, everybody, was a lot of people that thought, no, the owner wants Shedeur. No, he didn't. He doesn't want to win with a young black quarterback. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, because they all seem to be set up to fail from the ones that I know about. PJ Walker won 2 games in a row in 2023. And what did they do? They rotated to a different quarterback. Deshaun Watson started the 2023 season off 2-0. Game 3, they switched quarterbacks. It's called weaponizing instability. Shedeur need to get the hell out of Cleveland. They are not going to do anything right by him. They're going to make it harder and harder and harder for him to succeed. The owner told you he wasn't my pick. He sure wasn't, because guess what? He cut bait on March 31st publicly. He made the decision. He made the decision to pivot from Shedeur, but he wants us to believe his GM can veto him and his other 31 billionaire buddies. Yeah, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. So Cleveland media and their feelings, because they're being exposed for being toxic towards Shedeur, it's proven the culture started at the top with Jimmy Haslam and Stefanski, and Barry were just being good little boys and following their boss, with Barry covering for him. Stefanski ducking and dodging today. I refuse to spend time listening to him talk. Shout out to Daniel Oyefuse, who posted, he asked Stefanski, has the ship sailed on Shedeur getting first team reps? Again, Stefanski dodging questions, and people praising him for dodging questions is beyond me. For avoiding the subject and just saying, let's worry about other things. Shout out to Daniel Oyefuse, because I told him, you damned if you do, Daniel, and you damned if you don't. So you might as well go ahead on and do what's right. So he asked. Still didn't get an answer. What did I tell y'all? They say ask so they can tell you no. So you can know where they stand. See, I like to see where people stand. We see Cleveland don't want Shedeur. They don't value Shedeur. We saw that before Haslam started talking. And now it's confirmed. It comes from the top. They're holding Shedeur back, playing keep away with QB1, just like I said. The fans are trade Shedeur now. Fans are praying to God to get Shedeur the hell out of Cleveland. The media has joined in. Trade Shedeur. Teams are starting to emerge. Podcasters have pointed out Shedeur is auditioning every day. I said that in OTAs. Everything Shedeur is doing, go out there and be your best. Shedeur, if you ever see this podcast or anybody that knows him, go out there and be your best. Nothing is in vain. God will swing that door wide open just like he did in the draft. Right after your presence in Cleveland, finish exposing some things, because that's what's happening, and that's what's going to force him out of there. I felt like earlier today, conversations are being had to trade Shedeur. It's not going to go. I told y'all last week, it's not going to go the way Cleveland think it's going to go. He going to get, hey, we getting ready to get Shedeur. And they're not going to have any choice, because see, here's what they have done. Let me tell you what Haslam has done. Haslam has shined a light on the fact that the owners who took him off the board, that he also was a part of, because he did the same thing. Oh, if you would have told me you was getting Shedeur Friday night, yeah, because they locked him out. There was no way to get him. But they still took him off the board. So how far was they expecting for him to fall? All the way out the draft? We don't want you. We don't value you, because the NFL don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders. So now Haslam, I don't know what he thought he was doing, but he told everybody they don't support Shedeur. He confirmed why they're not supporting Shedeur, why they're not giving him reps, because they have no plan for him. Trade Shedeur Sanders now. That should be what you comment on everybody's page. Trade Shedeur Sanders now. And it's going to be against their wishes. I don't care what they get. They might not get nothing, because the owner proved the dysfunction in Cleveland. That's why nobody else is worried about what Cleveland is talking about today. If it ain't about Shedeur, we don't give a damn. And all the comments on what they're talking about is, when you going to trade Shedeur? Trade Shedeur. Trade Shedeur now. NOW, now. Everybody sees he's not going to be able to be successful there, because the leadership is against him. Cleveland media and their feelings, they can't talk about nothing else trying to defend Haslam's statements. There is no defense for treating this young man this way. There's no defense for that. So let's take a look at Shedeur about the numbers today. So let me just point this out, okay? It looks like they went with 21, 28 reps today instead of 33, which is what they were doing when Pickett was there. So they inching away reps. Shedeur still got the same number of reps he had yesterday. So no more reps. He's 70% accurate in training camp. No interceptions. Not a surprise. Shedeur in year one at CU only had 4 interceptions, and I think he was sacked 50 some odd times. He's not afraid to run out of the pocket. It was proven today that Dylan panics when the pressure comes towards him because he had an O-line at Oregon. He's not used to that. Shedeur don't give a damn. He'll step up in that pocket and deliver that ball and take that sack. You can't be mad. That's what you want. Deliver the ball. But they mad about that. Oh, that wouldn't have been a sack. What, you psychic? Stefanski with all the negativity. Remember when he had that little bout of positivity about Coach Prime and this, that, and the other? I guess he got in trouble. I guess he wasn't being a good little boy. So Stefanski and Barry are following orders from the owner. The owner who's a part of a group that took Shedeur Sanders off the board. When an NFL insider told Mel Kiper Jr., we don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now, who is we? Who is the NFL? 32 owners. That's why he wasn't the pick of the GM after they reeled him in. Was the New York Giants defaming Shedeur knowing full well the Browns was reeling him in? They were distancing themselves. We don't, instead of saying we don't want him, he's not a good person. They attacked his character. But then over here in Cleveland, they attacked his skill set. They flat out lied. Oh, we know he's going to outwork his draft stock. So you know that you were going to pay him $40 some odd million, and now you got him for $4, and he's going to be better than his 5th round pick. But you still treating him like you don't know who he is, because you don't want to say out loud to the media who's not familiar like we are that you pre-draft extensively with Shedeur. You don't want to bring that back up, because then you don't want the media to ask this question right here. So if you were going to get Shedeur at your number 2 pick for $40 million, and then he was taken off the board so nobody could get him, not even y'all, how the hell did you get him? How did you get him? How do you get somebody that's not available? How do you get a player that's not on the board? How do you get a player in the first round that's locked out? You don't. How do you get a player who was taken off the board after he was locked out of the first round? Because that was meant to play keep away with QB1. Can somebody explain how do you obtain a player that's not available? If you're off the board because the owners took you off the board, you were not available. How do you draft a player that's not available? Did you make a trade with another team? Nope. That's the mystery that has to be solved. And Shedeur probably going to be right there till the truth come out. Somebody running around somewhere with a little bitty pen that got a camera and some audio on it. I thank you in advance. See, everybody not with the BS. That's what people don't understand. And it's obvious that the current generation is slicker. It's more savvy with tools and technology than everybody on the Cleveland Browns in their orbit. The media, slow and behind, running out trying to, no, that's not what he said. We heard him with our own ears. We have moved on. He affirmed why Shedeur was being held back, because they don't want him to be their quarterback. They don't even want to win with him. They would rather lose. And that opens the door for, let me see how you conduct business. So the way that the Cleveland Browns conduct business is under the microscope. So Shedeur Sanders is 6 of 10 today. Again, no interceptions. This don't even matter. Nobody even cares. We know he's the best, and we know you don't want him. When are you going to trade Shedeur? That's the question. In addition to how the hell did you get him? And let me see how you conduct business. We don't even want to know why you don't want to win with him. We know you're biased. We see it. We get it. Look at the track record of your black QBs. You want to treat Shedeur like that, but you know you can't. Because 3 million people are watching, and that's Coach Prime's son, and he don't play that. You know you can't do Shedeur like you did Deshaun Kaiser and DTR and Deshaun Watson and PJ Walker. You know you can't. That's why you don't want it. But you played with him like you was going to get him. That's called fraud. That's called being a con artist. giving somebody the false sense of confidence that you're interested in them, and then you cut them like bait after you had lured them in, causing them emotional distress. And then you proceed to end up with him magically after he was unavailable. And then you want to kick him every day. Sound like a plot to me. The question is, were the Giants and the Cleveland Browns working together to lure Shedeur in, publicly humiliate him in the draft with the New York Giants and post-draft with the Cleveland Browns? Can you see it? I see it. I see it. Sent to Cleveland because he wasn't available, because their track record with black quarterbacks is horrible, and they knew Cleveland would get the job done, to humiliate a star QB by holding him back, making him sit, calling him a fifth-round developmental pick, devaluing his skill set, and they picked his pocket. So essentially, they strung him up buck naked and tried to break him. When they gonna trade Shedeur? That's all people want to know. We don't care what happens anymore. He's the exact same quarterback he was at Colorado. 70% with the Browns in the NFL and 74% at CU with no O-line. So if you take the average of those two, when he go with your first team O-line that you got for pennies on the dollar, he gonna be straight. If anybody knows what's coming, that's what all that drifting back out the pocket was that y'all don't want him to do. That's what he's supposed to do. It's called instinct. You don't want him to use his instincts. We're going to take a look at some of his plays from today. Beautiful. Day 5 was one of my favorite plays that I know we're going to see in the NFL. It just, he might not be wearing a Browns jersey, or we're going to see it in the preseason if he's still there, because I believe he can be traded at any moment. They just got to figure out how to keep holding back black elite talent before they send him to another team. Anybody want to take a bet that he going to a team that already got a black quarterback, so he could be buried on the depth chart there, so he could start over and learn the playbook too, so they could try to kick him, but they know they can't? Bryce Young was fortunate. He made it despite them trying to hold him back with Carolina. Carolina's organization apparently went through some type of change. Maybe it was the tickets of 45 cents and we still ain't coming. My advice for the Cleveland Browns, as I began to look at them in my rearview mirror, because I know Shedeur not going to be there very long, is y'all need to get with the Green Bay Packers fans, and y'all need to work together and learn from them on how to wrestle your team away from its current management, its current ownership, who should be forced to sell. Words like organizational malpractice, hell, I just say negligence. I'm going to just call a spade a spade. It's negligence, career negligence. And the Browns have created a toxic workplace. They want to piecemeal out his reps like he's a true developmental QB, and it proves every day he's the best QB that they have, and his numbers at CU align in the NFL. And we discussed it last night. The play calling, the offensive style that Kevin Stefanski is using comes from his good buddy who tried to get him to New York, but they blocked the interview down there. Pat Schumer. Shedeur Sanders, offensive coordinator. So Shedeur Sanders, offensive coordinator at CU, is responsible for the style of offense that Kevin Stefanski runs, which likely means, and I Googled it, they are close. They have a great professional relationship. So how is it that Kevin Stefanski could mistreat and hold back the best QB coming out of college when he has an excellent working professional relationship with Shedeur Sanders, offensive coordinator from Colorado? What's going on there? What's going on there? What does that mean? You know, one of these things that they like to say, Andrew Berry said, you know, we like to listen to people who've been around the player for a few years. So you listen to Pat Schumer then, right? So you listen to Pat Schumer. You told us you knew who he was. You knew he would come in here and work hard. You knew he would outproduce his draft stock, which means you knew at the time he was better than a 5th round pick. So why Did you draft him at all if you don't want him? You knew he was going to be best. Why are you holding him back? So many questions that need answers. But the connection to Pat Schumer, from Pat Schumer to Kevin Stefanski, I find very intriguing. I'm going to be watching to see what happens at CU with Pat Schumer. Somebody else got another title today. Offensive something coordinator. So we got a new offensive analyst at CU. We have an offensive something coordinator. If anybody knows who was elevated to offensive fill in the blank coordinator, please let me know. Bert, somebody? Bartolone, maybe? Somebody can look it up. Not, we can discuss it later because I will be back twice. So this entire situation is intriguing, right? The longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the more that gets exposed. We know he's good. We see he's exactly who he was at CU, a star. Even their treasured Bernie Kosar said he makes professional throws and has skills that you can't teach. Is he perfect? No. But why are they expecting him to be when they're not expecting perfection from Dylan? They are constantly giving Dylan opportunity after opportunity, and it's proven his height is an impediment. I was watching a clip today, and I was looking for Dylan, and I had to look down. I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. But they know this. But they're not ready. They're not ready to admit, not that they messed up and draft Shedeur later. See, no, this is bigger than that. No, this is bigger than that. See, you reeled in your number 2 pick for $40-some-odd million. And then your owner, we not getting him. We got Deshaun. See, the owner made that decision too, right? The culture is indicative of the owner's sentiment. If you'd have told me we were getting Shedeur, we don't want him. We don't value you. The owner. They were going to get him at the number 2 spot, but he was locked out of the first round. When do you think the decision to lock him out of the first round was made? And let's just be honest. Was that going to always be the plan? So it was always futile to pre-draft extensively for a player that would never be drafted at the number 2 spot because he was going to always be locked out of the second round. So the owner cutting bait on March 31st went as planned, because on February 20th, before the combine, the NFL insider told Mel Kiper Jr. the NFL don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. So the plot was unfolding when that went public. The plot was already in place. I'm going to go back to Vegas. The plot for 1732 came at Vegas. That's where Charles Woodson came from. And now they moving out of Cleveland. Have you seen Charles Woodson over there? I shared the story that Charles Woodson became limited partner or minority partner. They don't want to call it that no more because a lot of the minority partners are actually minorities. I reported that before they voted on it. How does that happen? Because they leaked the story, because they wanted to get it out there so the Cleveland Browns don't appear what? The plot was hatched after the Vegas Super Bowl, because when Jacoby Brissett was named a starter, that was 15 black starting quarterbacks. Cam Ward, 16. Shedeur, first round, second pick, 17. They knew this the whole time. The longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the truth about the plot to scapegoat Coach Prime, hold back the CU program, defame Shedeur, to justify having the NFL draft to conclude with 17 or 18 black starting quarterbacks. The longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the more people will talk that this is way bigger than football. The plan was laid out. Haslam was a part of it. Stefanski, Barry taking orders from Haslam working with the other 31 owners. Andrew Barry don't have that kind of power, and they don't even like black people like that. Not at these leadership positions, they don't. They don't have that kind of decision-making ability. I told y'all Mike Tomlin had 2 black quarterbacks last year. They got pissed off. Now he got 2 white ones. Not a coincidence. Russell Wilson took them to the playoffs. They scooted him right out of the clutches of Mike Tomlin trying to win. They don't care about him either. Poster started to say Andrew Barry got fired. I'm like, not yet, but it's coming. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Black people have lower cognitive functioning. I take Andrew Barry, put him in a public-facing position, and let him handle all of the dirt. Take all of the blame. And it looks like he's incompetent. Just like we said. Ray Norman, off the heels of plantation, black NFL players have lower cognitive functioning. That's just a nice way of saying black people in general are inferior. Because players have mothers, fathers, family, ties that don't play. How is it that their brains are different and other black people's are not? They worded that carefully. And the green rooms reflect that black people are not respected for their intellect to lead. So why would Andrew Barry have all that power? He does not. He was just being a good little boy. Or so he thought. The longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the truth that he was set up, Coach Prime was intentionally scapegoated, that the CU program was intentionally held back to make it look like Coach Prime was a problem. We don't want none of them but Travis, and then we're not going to give him his money up front. He had to fight for that too. And Coach Prime helped him get it. All while fighting for his life. They kicking on Shedeur, got him created a toxic workplace environment so he can feel less than, so he can get the message. They can drive it home. They condescending on the welcome call to him. They very, very, very welcoming to Dylan. They treated Shedeur that way that we could see he's uncomfortable. They was even getting to him. This is not easy to deal with at all, and definitely not at his age, and especially not having dealt with that before. Racism, that's what it is. That's what that is. When they said the Browns are biased against Shedeur and don't want to win with him, what kind of bias you think it is? No other team seemed to be calling like they were for Bryce Young. And it was even pointed out, and podcasters are starting to say it. Normally, when you have a player like Shedeur that you see can be a franchise player, you can win with him. The momentum is high. It was for Bryce Young. Because there's a moratorium, which proves further collusion. Post-draft, the longer Shedeur is in Cleveland. The truth is coming out. Shedeur, just hold on, boo. You're doing the Lord's work. Nothing you do is in vain. God swung that door open for you in the draft. He going to swing it open again. Just give it a minute. Just give it a minute. Because the truth is being told. And it needs to be told. See, what's happened in the draft, people didn't really know. Now they starting to see. Oh, yeah, the owner wanted Shedeur. Nope. Proven false. What's next? How they drafted him and he wasn't available. Why he had to go to Cleveland. Why Deshaun Watson had to go there. Because of their track record with black quarterbacks? I told y'all it was never a coincidence they were in the same place. I said that from the jump. I said in 2, it's going to shine a light on the way Cleveland does business and the NFL does business. Because we know Deshaun Watson with a $230 million guaranteed contract, right? How he get that? That's the same question how the hell Shedeur get to Cleveland? He wasn't on the draft board. That's why he was free falling. No sense of urgency, but all of a sudden, oh yeah, that's right. What day did that prank happen? Was that the Saturday? So let's see. They were called stupid on Friday. Then I think Tyler Shaw might have been drafted Saturday. And when the prank started going viral on CNN, it was becoming obvious we messed up. See, that wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to happen. So you put being called stupid on Friday by people who could hold you accountable in court, who could start congressional hearings and expose, drag it out for years. And then on Saturday, the prank comes out. So that's when people realize, oh, they trying to humiliate him. Oh, they trying to humiliate him. See, Shedeur had to endure all 3 days for the truth to come out. Oh, they trying to humiliate him. Then they lied. So they were getting their ducks in a row behind the scenes. 47, the prank. So on Sunday, the prank was everywhere. People were talking about it. See, that's when they do something. When people start talking about it. That's why Shedeur got first team reps today. But notice he still got 10 reps. He didn't get any more, and they reduced the number of reps. They went from 33 to 30. Now they at 28. They're not trying to give Shedeur any reps more than what he has. They're not trying to develop him. But yet you don't see them making an effort to trade him. So they trying to what? Humiliate him like they did in the draft. Make him uncomfortable. Make him doubt himself. Make him frustrated. Make him ask to be traded. And then what's going to happen? Maybe he should talk to Deshaun Watson and ask. Because if anybody know what happens when you get asked for a trade as a black quarterback, it's Deshaun Watson. He could write a book on it. I'm sure the $230 million guaranteed make him feel a little better. But they still kick him every chance they get. That's why they want those two talking at all. The longest Shedeur is in Cleveland. Just hold on. Because the truth is coming. Because see, people didn't see the connection between the Giants and the Browns working together in tandem with the NFL. See, that's what the prank exposed. That was inside information. That you had to be on the inside to know that. And for it to happen and play out during the draft, it was carefully orchestrated. And then the caller is connected to the GMs of the New York Giants because that's supposedly his daughter's boyfriend. Her daughter's boyfriend, or his daughter's boyfriend. And now, see, people thought once he left, Cleveland saved him. No. Coach Prime even thanked them. They didn't deserve no thanks. They probably laughed when they hung up the phone. They probably laughed when they hung up the phone because they knew they were going to hang him out to dry, set him up to fail, hold him back, make his life miserable, had no plans to start, no plans to develop, just going to be draft capital for next year after we make you sit. They weren't happy that after the owners took him off the board, 47 came through. The prank got exposed, went viral. People were talking about both incidents nonstop. That's a bad look. That's a bad look. So they told us a lie. Oh, it was Atlanta. It was this. It was that. Then the truth came out. That's the crazy part. Then the truth came out. Oh, no, it was not Atlanta. It was the NFL itself sent out Shedeur Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people who did not need to know, including equipment managers that he was throwing to the other day. I said it. That's a sign he finna hit the door with a waiver wire attached. That means they have checked all the boxes off the prank. They just got exposed, but they didn't stop. That's why the longest Shedeur is in Cleveland. The truth gonna come out because they don't know when to quit. They don't know when to quit. So somebody confirmed the prank was day 2. Perfect. So on day 3, Andrew Berry comes to work and says he just gonna wait and see how far Shedeur fall. There was no sense of urgency. But all of a sudden, as the truth was emerging that the NFL was responsible for giving out Shedeur Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people, and they lied and said it was the Falcons, and the media was calling out the NFL for making the prank responsible for giving out the number. They jump over they take 2 picks and expend them to get somebody in the same round. And they pissed off about it. That's why they was pissed off about it, because they were forced to do it. He was not available. The longest Shedeur is in Cleveland. People going to keep being arrogant. They're going to keep trying to antagonize him. Look at these numbers. Who cares about him? They didn't give him no more reps. They trying to piecemeal out via posturing. That's why he didn't do first team reps with the whole first team, offense and defense. It's just posturing because the owner confessed. The owner affirmed he's being held back because we didn't want him. and they standing on his head. And it looks bad, which is why the collective local media is trying, although futile, to defend him. You can't, you can't put that snake back in the cage. Sorry. It's out. It's out. That demon is out. And it's pointing to the rest of the owners. And it's making people ask questions. So you knew exactly who he was. You knew he was going to outpace his draft stock, outproduce his draft stock. So that's why you're holding him back. So he does not outproduce his draft stock. That's why they're holding him back. Because he was never intended to shine for them. They don't want to win with him. That might explain why they drafted Carson Schwarzenegger, second round, guaranteed money. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, should be guaranteed money. Both of those players are white. And not players that you typically take that early on. But you get Dylan Gabriel in the third round. You couldn't get Dylan Gabriel instead of Carson Schwarzenegger. So you don't respect Dylan either. You just pit Dylan in against Shedeur because Dylan is Polynesian. I think Dylan has figured that out. So this young man, the numbers don't even matter no more. He's exactly who he was at CU, just like he said, 74% at CU, 4th overall passing yards. First year, only 4 interceptions. And first year was more tragic with the O-line than the second year. Elevated each year he was there, despite the odds to hold him back, just like in Cleveland. What Shedeur is seeing, he already saw in Colorado. If he knew why it was happening in Colorado, then he knows why it's happening in Cleveland. It's by design. This is new for him. To be held back like this. It's new for him. It's not new for him to be sabotaged. It's not new for him to be hated on. But it is new for him to be held back from the QB position when he's proven the best. That's a lesson there. He's going to learn a valuable lesson from this about who you're really dealing with. And he's going to need to know that if he's going to be in this league, or maybe it motivates him to do what he and Cam Ward talked about, start their own league. Not a coincidence that a noose was placed at the construction site for the Titans after the coach using coded language was making Cam seem difficult. Cam and Shedeur talked about starting the league. This is your motivation, fellas. If not now, it needs to be in the very near future. All right, so ducking and dodging questions about first team reps, piecemealing his reps due to posturing after the owner done messed up and told everybody. The culture started at the top. I didn't want him. That's why Barry and Stefanski are being good boys. This is a good player. Everybody sees it. Where we are right this minute on the map is trade Shedeur Sanders now. The media talking about where he could go. I noticed that as fervent as that conversation should be, it is not. Because why? Because they know. They know he wasn't on the board when he was drafted, so nobody could get him. They're gonna have to orchestrate what seems to be a trade and send him somewhere. So they're trying to figure out where to send him that he could be held back. See, Russell Wilson was an experiment. You saw how he was abused in Denver. You didn't know about the collusion case, but now that you know now, he lost $81 million of guarantees. And they seemingly retaliated against him, sent him to Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin was supposed to be holding him back, but that didn't work. So can he really go to a team with a black coach if they have 2 other black quarterbacks? The answer is yes. Because Justin Fields would likely start. Then there's Tyrod Taylor. Then there's Shedeur. They will probably feel comfortable with that. That might be why the suggestion came out. But the priority is to get Shedeur the hell out of Cleveland as soon as the truth is exposed, or as much of it as we need to get to the next step. Because it gets to a point, we don't need all the truth out of Cleveland. What we got from the owner was enough to take the baton and go investigate the way Cleveland does business. And then everything else is going to fall into place. So they're going to force the trade, not Cleveland, somebody else, after they figure out what the hell to do. They can't get to him. They can't hold him back. If Dillon start limping or Flacco grab his leg, it is over. And it could happen. Dillon gonna get out there and throw interception after interception. Hell, he can't see over his own team. So some of the other players do look like Myles Garrett. I don't know what the hell he gonna do if he panicking because he's not used to being sacked like Shedeur is. Shedeur is absolutely the best fit for Cleveland, but Cleveland is the absolute worst fit for Shedeur. He deserves better. He deserves better. Let's see if he get it. So, I was going to play this video. I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to play this video because whenever I listen to it, I hear something different. And I want you all to have it in your subconscious. What's really going on here?
It's me.
All right.
And, Shedeur, we talk oftentimes about quarterback being the most important position in the sport. We obviously spend a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process. He's highly accurate, can play well from the pocket, very productive college career. And, we felt like it wasn't necessarily the plan going into the weekend to select two quarterbacks, but as we talk about, we do believe in best player available. We do believe in positional value, and we didn't necessarily expect him to be available in the in the fifth round. Felt like he was a good, solid prospect at the most important position. We felt like it got to a point where he was probably mispriced, relative to the draft. Really the acquisition cost was pretty light, and it's a guy that we think can outproduce his draft.
We've spent a lot of time with Shedeur. We know what he's about. He's coming in here to work just like all of our other players.
We view him as a highly accurate pocket passer. He does a really good job of protecting the ball. He has enough of the physical characteristics, whether it's arm strength or mobility. Like all young players, there are things to improve. I think.
Does anybody remember in the draft when they were pretty much saying during the draft it was his arm strength? What did Kevin Stefanski just say? We know he has the arm strength. So that's why they don't talk about that. What you hear out of Cleveland after Kevin is ducking and dodging, they're just holding him back. I mean, you can't say his arm strength is not good and he get out here and he ball out. So what they did was created a fake competition, knowing that Flacco is forced to share a locker with Jerry Jeudy. Why would you allow a fifth round QB to compete for the starter? That's a real question. The facility asked it and they off the air. Why would you allow a fifth round QB that you said is not good to compete for the starter? What did you think was going to happen if they won? That you was going to have a quarterback for $4 million instead of 40? It seemed like they don't even want that. It seemed like they don't even want that. They're not intentionally developing him. So if he gets better, it's going to be because he gets out there 40 minutes early and does the work, because he stays 30 minutes later and does the work, because he asks other players to work out. And they seem like, yeah, he has the locker room. The other players are caught up in politics. Barry and Stefanski following their leader, Jimmy Haslam, who's working with the other 31 owners. Post-draft collusion. Sabotage in Cleveland.
Probably much has been said about the number of sacks he's taken. Some of that is environment, and some of that is his improvement on his end, for sure. But he has probably a little bit more of a, call it retro or classic style of play. Our message.
So essentially, Barry is saying he's a retro style, classic QB, pocket passer. What the hell is Joe Flacco? You went and got that man off his couch. You went and got Flacco off his couch. He's a pocket passer. I don't even know if I've seen him lead the pocket yet. Dillon's scared to death he going to get sacked, and I don't know how you're going to get him over that, because what Shedeur endured was not easy to endure. Shedeur has the advantage when it comes to pressure in the QB. He has the advantage on accuracy. He has the advantage on mental toughness. Dylan can't win this competition because what Shedeur has, like Bernie Kosar said, you can't teach. Everything Shedeur went through at CU, year 1 and year 2. Anybody sacked 50 some odd times and only have 4 interceptions? It goes without saying they know how to hold on to the ball. That's what Stefanski just said.
Some of that is environment, and some of that is his improvement on his end for sure. But he has probably a little bit more of a, call it retro or classic style of play. Our message to him is really all of us, like, look, you got to come in and work, and you got to come in and compete. And that's the message. Nothing's given. The interviews, they're a small piece of it. We certainly do rely a lot more heavily, on our reference work for people who have been with the prospect for 2, 3, 4 years after school. We felt good with him as a person. He works hard. He's a really good kid. He wants to be great. His teammates, loved him in Colorado, and I know he'll come in here ready to work, ready to try to put his best foot forward.
I think all of our guys, I think every player.
So essentially, they know he's gonna come in. They know he's a good kid, but they want to kick him about speeding tickets. They didn't ask him if everything is okay. This young man's father was in the hospital on FaceTime with tubes in his nose. So something is going on. They show no compassion for Shedeur. They kicked him instead of, hey, is everything okay? Right? They got a player in Vegas, don't know his name, but something's not right. People are wondering if he's okay. Did you ever hear anybody ask if Shedeur's okay? If he's okay, period, number 1. If he's dealing with something, 2, and 3, is he okay following what happened in the draft? That's a lot to deal with. He's mentally tough on the field. Now he's mentally tough off of it, because if he wants to be in this league, he has to understand it's going to be a fight for QB1. Just look at Jalen Hurts. He won the Super Bowl and they trashing him and refused to give the Philadelphia Eagles the most primetime games as a reward for winning the Super Bowl. So if you're not the QB that they want, they're not going to reward you. They're going to make it hard. You just so good that you're going to win. I play this clip, and I would likely keep playing this clip intermittently because there are nuggets here. You listen to Barry when he talks. We know exactly who he is. We don't care. That's the message. We don't care. And why wouldn't he care? Wouldn't his job be on the line for getting 2 quarterbacks in the same draft and wasting? Why wouldn't he care? Because he know that his boss don't want Shedeur. He know the other owners don't want Shedeur. They were forced to take Shedeur. Shedeur was not available, and he was going to use him for draft capital. I mean, he does have a Harvard degree. What they have done to this young man is abuse. Set him up to fail, sabotage him, created a toxic workplace environment, and still he's rising. Still I rise. The longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the more the truth will come out about who was all involved in the plot of 17-32 playing keep away with QB1 with black quarterbacks in the 2025 draft. Stay tuned. So let me see what y'all are talking about. Let me see what y'all are saying. Trade Shedeur Sanders now is where we are. It stopped raining. I wonder if I could go back to my microphone. Let's see. Dump some pages. I still need to show some things, so I could dump the numbers because we're done with them. I didn't even care about them this cycle because it doesn't matter. He proves he's still the same starter he was at CU. 70 versus 74%, and he's being held back. He's going to get that 74%. Hell, he might get closer to 80. This is not a person you treat like that. All right, so I'm going to try to see if I can switch my microphone, guys, while I see y'all in the comments. I'm hoping the rain has stopped. I'm hoping I can go back to my microphone. Let's see. Oh, here it is, right. All right. I was hoping I could go back to my microphone, but it looked like it's still muted. Thumbs up if you can hear me, everybody. All right, let's see what y'all talking about in here before we get on to some of the other footage. Jam, how you doing? How you doing? Gracie, how you doing? Good evening, Crowley. Hey, JG, how you doing? Thank you, JG. Thank you, Jay. All right. Max said he can hear me. Free Shedeur Sanders now. That's it. That's it. The owner said he didn't want him. Right. He did not. Shedeur needs to leave. I don't think he should take it upon himself to leave because he didn't get himself drafted. He gotta, if you growing in your spirituality, like he said, you gotta stay here. This is spiritual growth. This is so you can see that what's happening in your life is for your good, to know who these people truly are, and God's glory to expose the truth. So he gonna be there. He's tough. He's fine. Now that he knows they didn't want him, he doesn't have to concern himself with trying to play nice with them. Just go to work, do your job. Don't trust anybody except for the people you already trusted, like the little friends he made, and keep it pushing. And keep it pushing and know that this is where God wants you until he no longer wants you here. That is a valuable lesson to learn in life. It helps you to get past storms like this instead of removing yourself when you're not fully where you need to be. Let him keep working for himself. He is auditioning. I don't think any owners will break the cycle of collusion. I think just like he was forced in the draft to be, somebody had to get him. And there were two events, and we know why. One Friday, one Saturday. The one Saturday was pivotal because it exposed what they were doing to him. And when you look at the fact that it came from the Giants, it proves that they had bad intent the whole time. The truth has to come out about this. This is major. So he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's growing in his faith. He sees the truth is coming out. When the owner come out there, he don't talk to you, you don't care. Just be polite and keep it pushing. Do the right thing when the wrong thing is happening, you're going to be fine. Browns aren't getting rid of Shedeur. I don't know what people been saying. Negative rumors about Shedeur. Sean, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Clarify that for me. Chris said Cam Ward is 11 of 26 with 3 interceptions. What? Who they have him working out with, Chris? Third team, fourth team, first team? They probably trying to make him look bad. Let me know who he working out with. I don't know. And then I want to see who Jackson Dart was working out with. Let's see if they treat him fairly. Titans should have taken Shedeur. They didn't want a black starting quarterback. That's why they wanted to get rid of their pick. They don't have a good track record with black quarterbacks. New road to harvest off the backs of black quarterbacks, right? Like I said, hopefully this motivates Cam and Shedeur. See, Cam was blinded by something early on. He didn't realize Shedeur told him in Vegas, they're gonna do the same thing to you. See, Shedeur's smart. He's smart. He knew it, and it's happening. It's happening. They only being nice because of the news. They don't want that to reflect on the organization. They're going to go right back to irrelevancy talking about him when don't nobody care about that no more. You would think they would talk about his numbers. They might get there. See, they want to prove that these young rookies, especially these young black rookies, because that's the trend. Young black rookies starting out balling and winning. See, Jaden Daniels made it. They were so busy holding back CJ Stroud in his sophomore season, trying to prove that he should have never started in the first place. That Jaden Daniels made it through, and now you can't tell nobody that these guys can't start. Times are changing, and the NFL is slow to change with it because they don't want to be black QB led. The bottom feeder teams are the worst. Other teams, Washington, Carolina, had to learn the hard way. Now they embrace Bryce Young instead of having him sacked 68 times. Caleb Williams just got a whole new O-line. They said no excuses. I'm like, so y'all got rid of people that y'all likely had to allow him to get sacked. See how they use people up, chew them up, and spit them out? And now he has a whole new O-line. Did it work for Justin Fields? That's why Justin Fields made his way to Pittsburgh. Wasn't a coincidence Mike Tomlin was black. Not a coincidence that Aaron Glenn is black while they trying to send Shedeur. These guys need shelter from the abuse that they are taking from some of these owners. The worst bottom feeder teams. Cleveland don't want to look what? They trying to get a new stadium. Or they got one. It's under construction. They broke ground. They want to expand like the Star. Hell, their organization is only worth $500 million. It would be better if they wanted to win for the sake of winning, but no, I don't want to win with you. Marlon Briscoe, 1968. Was Jimmy Haslam alive in 1968? I'm pretty sure he was. He knows how this goes. The question is, they won't answer what the truth is. Why did you draft him if you didn't want him here? Shit, my question is how. I want to know how. Because you didn't draft him. You didn't draft him. Steve McNair was QB in Tennessee, right? And they turned him into from Steve McNair to Ground McNair. And after they almost won the Super Bowl, they shipped him off to Baltimore. The same Baltimore who don't even want to win with Lamar Jackson. And the same Baltimore, well, it became obvious that Flacco was holding the team back. A lot happening in Baltimore. Night Owls activated for facts. It says Steve McNair was in Tennessee and took them to the Super Bowl. And what happened the next year? They shipped him right the hell off to Baltimore. Just like what happened after Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. They disbanded the hell out of that team. They don't want to see two black quarterbacks in the next Super Bowl because it's going to look like a trend. Of course, it's the trend. You got 17 black starting quarterbacks. You got 24 of them, but you got them stacked up on the same team. That's another fight, but we ain't worried about that. At least they somewhere safe together. Strength in numbers, right? Hey, fam. Hey, Mac, how you doing? If by any chance Shedeur gets traded to another team, I hope it's a team that's on the Browns schedule so I could start, so he can start it like I said the same thing. I said the same thing, Marlon. I said the same exact thing. It's your birthday. Yes, 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 yes. It is. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. I said the same thing, Marlon. The same thing. Oh, yeah, he said that. Yep. It says Shedeur is outperforming Cam Ward right now. Not a surprise. Shedeur was supposed to be the #1 overall pick. Not a surprise. Shedeur was supposed to be the #1 overall pick coming out of college. But again, that's how you know the plot was already hatched. They had to manipulate that. And Clara confirmed that the Cincinnati game was in October. And the Cincinnati game is where they were like, yep, he's the #1 pick coming out of college. They had to change that when they realized that that was the order going to be for the draft because Shedeur going to anywhere at 16. Didn't matter if it was Tennessee. Tennessee traded the pick to Vegas. Shedeur being 16 did not work. Shedeur had to be 17. 17 is the halfway point, and the second pick in the draft, Cleveland. That's how you know Cleveland was in on the same bullshit that the Giants was in on. They was all in on it. The plot was hatched right after the Vegas Super Bowl, which is why they went back to Charles Woodson and said, hey, you still interested? And rushed him through, introduced him to the Haslams, and it was like that. Before it was a process, suddenly the process was erased because they wanted him to be on their side and to be able to come back and say, hey, we had this all along. We're not racist. That's what this is about. Not appearing what? They appear exactly that. People have gone through the hypothesis of why Shedeur was being held back before Haslam told the truth. Now they know. What they don't know is how he got drafted when he wasn't available to be drafted. What they don't know is why there was a sense of urgency to draft him after 47 on day one, prank, and 47 going viral on day two. Why he got drafted on day three? And they taking it out on him because they had to take him and they didn't want to. That's why he can't get his number. That's why they treat him like a 5th round pick, because they truly want to align his talent with the 5th round pick. And they so blinded by their hatred that they don't want 17 to 32 black starting quarterbacks that they forgot. They pre-drafted him extensively. It's documented. That's called blind rage. Desperation. The plan was exposed, so they had to pivot, and they pivoted poorly. Andrew Barry's telling us all of this while he's being condescending to Shedeur, showing us he's not happy about it because it was forced. He wasn't available. Let's see if the general media picks up on that and want to talk about it. 17 to 32, all those teams have what QBs, therefore QB2 does not need to be black, so the minority doesn't get to be the majority. Yeah, see, it started out in the NFL. They didn't want no black quarterbacks at all. Then when they started getting them, they did start making them backups, languishing backups. But somewhere around the late 90s, Donovan McNabb, I think it was Donovan McNabb, and who played in Minnesota where they had that scandal? I think that was Donovan McNabb. That had that scandal on that boat. Whoever played for Minnesota where they had that boat scandal with the players that year, I think that was Donovan McNabb. They let him touch the ball his first year. His whole story is crazy. From college to the NFL. His first year, they made him sit. They let him touch the ball 5 times. He's a dual threat quarterback. Back then, the term dual threat wasn't being used. They was just saying he was mobile. He uses his legs. Michael Vick, the term dual threat kind of came along somewhere between Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick. Michael Vick was the one that was pivotal because of what happened with his situation. But Michael Vick was pivotal because he was the number 1 overall black QB picked, period. So that was a transformative period. That was a transformative period right there, from banning black players from becoming quarterbacks in the 1920s to banning black people from the NFL in the 1930s. So in 68, having black quarterbacks like Marlon Briscoe and telling them, yeah, I don't want you to be my quarterback. You can go be a running back, a receiver, or a defensive back. Yeah, I know you're good, but I don't want you. That's exactly what they're doing to Shedeur. And it's a whole lot of quarterbacks in between because we studied. We studied so much, I don't even want to study them no more because it's the same trauma over and over and over and over. I was like, I don't know how social workers do this. I can't absorb all this trauma like this. I had to take a break. Somebody wanted us to look into, I think Charlotte wanted us to look into the guy from Colorado, Flash. Hell, I needed a break. It was the same story over and over and over. That's why I like, if Shedeur ever see this or anybody knows Shedeur, please go study your black NFL quarterbacks. In your free time, stay there and learn about their journey, and you're going to see yours. And know God got you here. So stay where he put you, because if not, you're going to end up like Tyrod Taylor with a punctured lung. And that's how they're going to keep you from QB1. If they don't want you somewhere, things happen. So stay put until the door opens. They want him to, I said it. I said, I think they want him to force his way out. Somebody said it today. He should have forced his way out. No, that's what they want. Deshaun Watson is a constant reminder. He's there every day. Do not ask for a trade because they're going to get you. Just stay there. They had Shedeur take 3 reps against the first team defense while playing with the second team defense. Right. So let's take a look at this footage from today. All right. So let me share my screen. As usual, Cameron Justice does a compilation of the plays so we can see them all at once. Shedeur is that guy. I'm just gonna go ahead on and say it. Uh, he's that guy. It's undeniable. So let me share my screen so we could take a look. Let's see. Turn the audio on first. So I don't have to come back. Oh, I don't think she has audio. Okay, I don't think she has audio. Shout out to Cameron Justice, News 5 in Cleveland. Thank you. Give me a second, guys. Let me share. That's, is that it? I think that might be it. I can't tell, but we're just gonna start with this. Yeah, I can't tell. We're just gonna start with this one. Nope, that's somebody else. Okay. Just weird, but okay. I don't know why I can't see that. Okay, I'm gonna just go with this. Just gonna go with this. All right. Nope, not the right one, but hey, I can share this screen instead. Okay, let's go with this. All right. Okay. Let me rewind. We're gonna hit play. It's not any sound. We're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna stop. We're gonna start it. That's Shedeur on the run, extending the play. Now, I heard at one point it seemed like they didn't want him to extend plays. Like early on, they were getting on him for things that you're supposed to do. Basically saying that he was drifting backwards out the pocket, but that's what you're supposed to do, right? Let's see. That's what you're supposed to do. I just kind of feel like they just a little hard on him. They expect perfection in order so they could say you're good just because they don't want him to make it. All right, let's keep going. Shedeur on the run, extending the play. That's 37. Is that Luke Floria? So this is the first team offense with the second team defense. It's reported he only had the 3 reps with them before they moved him back to the fourth team, I think. Or the second team, the second team. So the close they'll let him get is second team reps where he spends most of the time. They'll let him do second team reps. But when it comes to first team, he can only work with the first team defense with the second team offense, which doesn't make any sense. And to me, that's just posturing after Haslam's miserable uh, interview yesterday because he exposed the culture is toxic. All right, and see that person didn't hold on to the ball. I mean, that's what happened when you have a second team defense on a first team offense, right? Why would you mismatch like that? So the guy kept the ball, 87. That's Shedeur on the run, extending the play. We love to see it. Looks like Colorado. Excellent. Whoever that is, who is that? 30, 83 held on to the ball. Oh, Keyshawn Johnson. I think that's his name. Keyshawn. I couldn't see what that was. I have no idea what that was. Shedeur right here extending the play. Love it, love it, love it. Went ahead and got the first down himself. That's what it appeared to be to me. Shedeur on the run. They say he wasn't mobile. That was also a lie. Uh, 38. They used that pocket passer to devalue him, but that's what Flacco is. And they went and got him off the couch. They don't want to win with Shedeur. They don't want him to be their starter. That's all it is. All right. So the most egregious part comes not just because they don't want him to be the starter. It comes because they basically I hope y'all can see this. Let me see. Can y'all see this? It's because they pre-drafted him extensively, which means they reeled him in and made him believe they were going to draft. And then Haslam came out and makes the statement that I was likely planned. We got Deshaun, no. And then they pivot. That was a plot. That was all a plot. And have them saying I didn't want him tells you that they were forced to take him because Andrew Berry don't have the power to veto 32 owners. He's just a black GM. And y'all know what they do with race norming. That's their policies and practices that they were supposed to quit in 2021, but it appears to be still alive and well. The NCAA and other organizations got together and on behalf of the players sued the NFL. It seems like it needs to happen again because they violated black players' civil rights, discrimination, and it's still happening. So, all right. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, it's up there. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. So what do we have next? All right. This was a play that people talked about today for sure. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. I don't know why it's making me move that. All right. I'm over here to the right. This is Shedeur extending the play. Something Pat Mahomes does, but Shedeur was catching flack for. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm trying to see who that was that connected. Was that Deontay Johnson? I can't see his jersey number. I don't know who that was. Okay, so I was trying to see who that was, guys, but I couldn't tell. It's just a beautiful play by Shedeur, and people liked it. I just leave it on mute so y'all could like just kind of see it. That's Shedeur doing Shedeur things, right? Shedeur did these things in college. He did these things in college. So I just think that that's great. Bridget, thank you so much. Oh, you can't see the screen. Thank you for telling me that. Okay. I can let's see. Okay, thank you, Bridget. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It said happy birthday. Thank you, Joyce. Oh, she said we can see it now. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So that means y'all didn't see all the plays. All right, let me switch to that tab. I'll have to do a switch because it's already aligned. So let's see. I'm gonna close this one out. I don't want to cause any friction. Okay, watch again. Share this tab instead. All right. So the one that's on your screen is a compilation of plays. Cameron Justice on X, I think News 5 or something like that. I like this one because this is Shedeur. It's supposed to be different teams. That was Myles Garrett right there. Did y'all see number 95? So that means this is the first team defense. If you see Myles Garrett, it's the first team defense, number 95. Number 31 held on to the ball despite look like double coverage. Let's see. Shedeur to the tight end. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I think this is excellent to 82. This Shedeur right here. Now, I will tell y'all that some of the Cleveland fans, and in my opinion, and this is no disrespect, this is absolutely no disrespect to Cleveland fans at all. But I just want to say, Cleveland fans do not know what a good quarterback looks like. Cleveland fans, too many of them. Some do. I'm not trying to diss anybody. Some do. The ones that watch other teams play. But the people that have only watched Cleveland, they do not know what a good quarterback looks like. They have had 40 quarterbacks take snaps as starters in the last 25 years. They have had 12 quarterbacks take snaps as starter in the last 4 seasons. And so Shedeur, they want to hold him back. Will probably use him sparingly, which is why he need to get the hell out of Cleveland, because they're not going to do right by a friend. He's a franchise QB. This is obvious. And like people were pointing out, the momentum is typically high to get players like Shedeur, like they went after to rescue Bryce Young. But because you don't see it publicly, it's because there's a moratorium on it. And again, it further proves collusion in Cleveland now. So we got collusion in the draft. We have collusion in Cleveland. And it begs the question, if he was not on the draft board, if he was not available because the owners took him off, how did Andrew Berry have the authority to get him against the wishes of 32 NFL owners? It didn't happen. Jimmy Haslam told you that wasn't his idea. It wasn't the rest of the owners' idea either. He wasn't on the board. The part is not, they're not saying is there were 2 events that were catalysts opening the door for Shedeur to get drafted. Now, the question is, why Cleveland? I hate to use the term drafted because he wasn't drafted. He was put somewhere. So the owners seemingly got together and decided on where he was going to get put. And Cleveland was the place because they have a horrible track record with QBs primarily. And then it seemingly is worse with black quarterbacks. Okay, so that's it. He did good today, guys. He's like himself from CU, which is why his jersey's retired. People have realized he's a franchise QB. People have realized that he is also auditioning for another team. Trade Shedeur Sanders now is the mantra from fans, and the media has picked it up and are looking for teams that he could possibly go to just in part of a conversation. Hey, he should go to the Jets, but there are other players that are hurt, right, that he could actually go to, but they have not come out and said, yeah, this will be a good team, because it proves Shedeur just can't go to any team. They have to orchestrate carefully where they send him because he's that good. I have to have buy-in that the coach would hold him back. Do I really want to go to a black coach and ask them to hold back a black player? You can't do that with every black person. Every black person is not Andrew Berry, whose black card should be revoked at this moment. So you have to figure out who it is that you could go to and give the orders to do to Shedeur what's being done to him in Cleveland. See, Berry went for it. See, every black person is not going to go for it. Isaac Newsom didn't go for it. He saw what was happening to Lamar Jackson, and he rescued him. Mike Tomlin saw what was happening to Russell Wilson and to Justin Fields, and he rescued them. So will it have to be another black quarterback to do the rescuing? And if so, they're putting their jobs on the line. That's the message. Aaron Glenn ain't the one. He won't do it right. That's why I'm like, I think Shedeur ending up in Cleveland. Justin Fields might start, but if something happened to Justin Fields, they probably gonna play Shedeur. I'm just saying. See, Mike Tomlin went against their wishes. I don't know if they told Mike Tomlin, we need you to hold Shedeur back, or if it was some kind of quiet, silent understanding. But just like in the draft, Mike Tomlin was advised to draft Shedeur Sanders and make him QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers blocks and says, if you draft Shedeur at all, I don't give a damn what you do with him. I'm not coming. So they passed on Shedeur. Mike Tomlin didn't have no choice in that. He was not about to partake into humiliating Shedeur any further than he was already being humiliated. Isaac Newsom didn't partake in that. So I want you to look at these black GMs that they do have. What is it about them that they feel like they can use against their own people? I don't even know how many black GMs there are. We know there are absolutely no black offensive coordinators. How many black GMs are there? 2? I know one is in Minnesota, right? The other one is Andrew Berry. That's 2. Maybe there's some other ones out there. If not, it's 2. So this is the longer Shedeur is in Cleveland, the more the truth is coming out. That's what this is about. Fans want Shedeur traded, but they're going to have to wait till God has revealed the truth that needs to be revealed. The next thing, how did you draft him if he was unavailable? And why were you forced to get him? Because you clearly didn't want him. And we're going to go back to the truth, right? What are the catalysts to the sense of urgency where there was none? 47 and the prank being exposed and both being viral. And I do mean viral on the internet, and the NFL being exposed because the prank wasn't supposed to get out, or they wasn't supposed to be able to trace it back to real human beings. It was supposed to be the rest of the kind of pranks that the other pranks were. But see, Shedeur had a new phone. He knew and said it. That phone only had GM phone numbers for the teams he talked to. So it was a very select few people that had the number until it was learned that the NFL gave it out to everybody, which made the prank possible. So again, the dots are being connected. And as long as he's there, he's going to be there to a point where we have enough information to expose it all. And then he could go. That's how this going to go. You got to have 100% of full understanding so you can continue down the road and understand what's going on safely. So you don't go to the next spot and think, oh, this was just Cleveland. No, he has to have a full understanding that what was done to him had absolutely nothing to do to his father, that his father was a scapegoat, that the team was held back intentionally. It was not a coincidence they all started getting drafted after him, that they tried to pit Travis against him, that they gave him Travis's jersey number, that they gave Travis his money in the same number 2 spot, that they were trying to pit Travis against Shedeur, and that none of these teams can be trusted. So maybe this is the motivation for Cam and Shedeur to start their own league like they said. Maybe they didn't really think they would do it, but now they have the motivation, and they should be inspired to do so. All right, so that's where we are with that. Auntie from Georgia, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Go to any team except the Saints. Now, he can't go anywhere. He can't go to them bottom feeders for sure. You're right. I say anywhere but Cleveland. We're supposed to be looking at the map to see where everybody is already. So I think we looked at it yesterday. But because there's 2 people. So let's see if we can rule out some teams real fast. I think we can. I think we can rule out some teams. JJ McCarthy, Minnesota is not going to happen. They are not going to push Shedeur behind a white QB unless they think that they can hold him back. And Josh Allen will be the only person, because they were like, well, we just paid Josh Allen $330 million, so he could go over there. People get injured. They don't think like that, because that's exactly what they're doing to Jalen Milroe. Oh, Sam Darnold, we paid him $100 million, but they have since wised up and try to move Jalen Milroe, who they think they have buried on the depth chart for 2 years. They're wasting these guys' talent like they did Saquon Barkley, who said, by the way, don't be surprised if I retire. Why would he say that? Because he realized that they wasted his years. Look at how talented he is. They refuse to let these guys go. They can't ask for a trade without retaliation, public humiliation. They devaluing them. They're going to make less than their peers, but now they got to work hard. They got to be perfect. And then they wonder why the guys keep rising as the majority of the elite QBs, because you're making their life harder, and they keep rising and excelling and meeting the challenge. That's not fair. The NFL is not a meritocracy. That's what this proves. It's about preference and preservation of whiteness at the QB, because it's already been said out loud that white starting quarterbacks have already become the minority. So that's where we are. Trade Shedeur Sanders now. That's it. Just trade him now, because honestly, this is not it. I hope and pray that he lands in a situation. See, people say he's going to be like Baker Mayfield. Well, Baker Mayfield is white, right? I don't have anything documented when you search that says he was publicly mistreated. See, that's the thing. Quinn Ewers not mistreated. Yes, held back, not mistreated. Held back because they wanted to get people they could work with. Tyler Shaw, Jackson Dart. Obvious reasons, right? So everybody not gonna go for that, right? Everybody not gonna go for that. So the teams that we say that he could go to, let's see, won't stop sharing. The teams that they said he could go to, the Jets. Now I want you to pay attention to where the Jets are. It's already obvious that before Justin Fields got there didn't seem to be any. Let me take that off the screen. 1 second. I think we know. Trade Shedeur Sanders now. All right. All right. So we talked about this, right? Justin Fields and Tua. They clearly look at people of Polynesian descent different. They will pit them against black players, right? Quinn Ewers ended up in Miami. People thought Shedeur should go there. I kind of thought he should go there too, because Miami has proven to be one of the teams that have limited partnerships who seem to be able to have a voice. Serena and Venus Williams are two people for sure. I have to take my crown off because that hurt. For sure. And if Shedeur went into the New York Jets, which would compete directly with the Buffalo Bills, that's where Josh Allen is. They would never put Shedeur behind Josh Allen unless they just overlook the fact that injuries happen. They could think, oh, we paid him too much money, Shedeur is buried. That's what they think about Milroe, but they moved it, seemingly trying to move him back again. He could go to the Jets because, and ESPN chose the Jets for a reason. They know more than we do. Yes, the coach is black. That would make his job in the hot seat unless he has a true relationship, a genuine relationship with the owners. But then the media gonna antagonize him for the next few years while Shedeur is there, but he probably don't care. But there will be 3 black quarterbacks there, right? There'll be 3. Shedeur leaves Cleveland. It's just Deshaun. They still owe him $46 million this year and next year, so I think he's going to be there. So it's good for Shedeur to move on. And then Pittsburgh, that's where he actually was likely going to end up at the 11th hour. But as you can see, there were people that blocked that intentionally. So they're not going to probably send him anywhere in the AFC North. Now, they could be petty as hell and put him behind Lamar Jackson because they have colluded against both of them. Shedeur's situation is more egregious than Lamar Jackson's was during the draft. Before Shedeur Sanders in the 2025 draft, Lamar Jackson was the most egregious public display of humiliation, disrespect. We don't want you. We don't value you. Now it's Shedeur. It's going to be somebody else. As long as these guys keep coming to this league, they don't stop, learn from this, start their own leagues. It's going to be somebody else. It's going to be somebody else. From 2018 to 2025, they think y'all forgot about Lamar Jackson. So they did it again, and you have to look at what's at stake. And then I want you to look at Michael Vick. First round pick, first overall, first black QB. That's major. That's major. That's what, 2000, 2001? That was major. They didn't try to switch him off to wide receiver, a cornerback, or anything. He made it. He was excellent. The league talked about him. He was bigger than life in Atlanta, they say. In the league, everybody talked about him. And then, boom, all of a sudden, something happens. Deshaun Watson was good. All eyes were on him, too. He asked for a trade. Something happens. Shedeur Sanders can't ask for a trade because he's not going to get it. If he could get it, teams would be clamoring to get him just like they were for Bryce Young. The difference between the two, Bryce Young was already in the league. Shedeur was being held back in the draft. And they not finna give it up. That's why I say they still trying. That's why the saga will continue. So he's okay. I think he'll be okay. He just have to understand, just keep growing in your faith, because that's exactly what this is about. So there's not really the places that He should be able to go anywhere. He should be able to go anywhere. Everybody doesn't have a full depth chart, but he's not going to go to the Rams right over here. Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett are stacked up together right here in Arizona. They could have spread him out and put Jacoby Brissett in Seattle, or why not behind Brock Purdy? Because they don't want nobody to compete with the QB in Seattle, Sam Darnold. They don't want nobody to compete with Brock Purdy, who they just paid all this money. They don't want nobody to compete. These are the protected QBs. They're protected. That's why there's only Kyler Murray. So you should be able to see who the protected QBs are. NFC West and AFC East. Trevor Lawrence is going to be there to 2030, so it don't matter no way. His contract is locked into 2029, 2030 with a no trade clause. He got CJ Stroud, Cam Ward, and Anthony Richardson, who's supposed to be hurt, and it's going to be a battle for Anthony Richardson to get his job back because they put Daniel Jones over there to compete with him to take it from him. So Shedeur not going there either, because they're not putting Shedeur behind Daniel Jones because he going to leapfrog him. They know that. Then we have over here the AFC West. Pat Mahomes ain't happening. And it ain't even happening. Pat Mahomes' numbers are on the decline. Geno Smith, they don't believe in him. No way. They just got him to block Shedeur. Shout out to Geno Smith, no disrespect. And then we got the Chargers. They already said Trey Lance is seemingly taking over for Justin Herbert. And so they already saying, we got somebody. We got somebody. And then there's Bo Nix and Denver. It will never happen. Will never happen. They're not going to do it. Because if the goal is to suppress black quarterbacks, I'm not putting you behind Bo Nix, Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen. It's not going to happen. I'm going to find one of these teams that got all these black quarterbacks, and the more the better, and that's right here. They believe this is the best solution because he will be held back. That's what was supposed to happen in Pittsburgh, and it didn't. Justin Fields must have got hurt or a bench for whatever reason, but I'm thinking injury, and then Russell Wilson emerged to QB1 against their wishes. So now they're going to try it again with Shedeur, but instead of sending him to a team where he's only one QB back, he'll go to New York where he's the third QB behind Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, then Shedeur, and a black head coach. Let them fight it out. And then they're going to antagonize the hell out of the coach. So now you can see he can't go anywhere. He ain't going to Detroit behind Jared Goff because he's going to leapfrog him too. He's not going to Minnesota behind J.J. McCarthy because he's going to leapfrog him too. They have Jordan Love stacked up over here. They could put him in New York behind Caleb Williams. Caleb don't have nobody. That's the solution. They could send him there. But then again, the way they treated Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, he don't want to go there. I think they just as bad as Cleveland. They allowed Caleb Williams to be sacked 68 times after he tried to go somewhere other than the NFL. Sounds like retaliation. A lot of retaliation. So Shedeur does not need, this is why he don't need to ask for a trade. This is why he can't go anywhere. And he likely going to end up behind somebody that's already black or who they think he can't leapfrog. But they're not going to even take the chance of putting him behind Josh Allen. So that's it. That's where we are. Trade Shedeur. Where can he go? That's it. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this presentation. I hope y'all have enjoyed this presentation because, you know, that's what it is. Take Chicago off the list. The coach is a snake. Isn't the head coach in Chicago the offensive coordinator from Detroit? It says Shedeur Sanders is in a toxic relationship with the Browns. Facts. All black NFL quarterbacks are in a toxic relationship with the NFL. So you are absolutely correct, Ron Burgundy. All black NFL quarterbacks are in a toxic relationship with the NFL, which means Shedeur Sanders is in a toxic relationship with the Cleveland Browns. And his next place that he'll go to, and they're going to have to find somewhere for him to go and be forced to, again, could reset the buzzer, or they could be like, you know what, y'all better find somebody else to hold back because Shedeur being anywhere going to blow it all up because it's 3 million people talking about it daily. and the media. It said the Bears did not give Justin an O-line, and he was sacked tremendously, even though he was a dual threat, which they don't like, by the way. They also tried to defame him as well. Justin doesn't need this drama. Okay, Priscilla, because I asked. I hate to tell you, I have a feeling that's where he might end up. So here's the thing. They already saying Justin Fields got 2 years to make it or break it to get the hell on. But how long Daniel Jones been at this failing? Tina Davis, they said BP, some of the rookies said the only difference to them was learning the plays. Travis Hunter, everything else wasn't a big deal because they were trained by former NFL players. Travis Hunter, he said it. Travis told him, see, Shedeur can't say that. Shedeur will be arrogant and cocky because he's a quarterback. First of all, he's a quarterback. If Travis were a black quarterback, it would be the same problem. But he's not. He's not a quarterback. And the way they treated Shedeur is to deter these young players coming out of high school as quarterbacks to make them go back to the time period where they switched off to wide receiver, defensive back, or running back, or DB. That's what they want to go back to. They want to try to suppress the numbers of QBs coming into the draft. So if I hold Shedeur up as an example, then maybe when they choosing in high school, they'll choose something else. See, Cam Ward thinks Shedeur had it easier because he was a Sanders and he was wealthy. His road was tough. But his road also get ready to prepare him to deal with the Tennessee Titans, who wanted to trade their pick when they needed a quarterback, who wanted Cam to compete with Will Levis till Will Levis got hurt. They could be petty and push Shedeur over there too. The goal is to hold you back. So I'm going to put you somewhere where if you emerge, it don't matter because I'm not going to have 17 black starting quarterbacks. If they had 17, there would be nothing else to fight about. The next fight would be, why are they reducing the amount of money that the quarterbacks make? Why the quarterbacks making the same as the wide receivers? Because they want to take the prestige off the position of the kings of the NFL once black players emerge as the majority of the starters. It's not going to be nothing special no more. Everybody want to be the quarterback, right? Well, when they start to normalize it, that you know different than anybody else, just like they devalue the running back. They value the quarterback. That was the first thing that Andrew Berry said. Well, you know, the quarterback is the most important position on the draft. I'm telling you, that interview is full of nuggets. You got to listen to what he's saying and what he's not saying. You got to listen. That's why I keep playing it, because something emerges. The quarterback's the most important position on the team, and look how they treat him, because the quarterback is the most important position on the team, and we don't want you with it. If I don't want any black offensive coordinators, if I probably have 2, maybe 3 black GMs, and I'm going to have less than that next year, and then I get somebody that's not black, I go with somebody that's African, I'm already pivoting. Daniel Oyefuse, same thing. Look at some of the people who work for Cleveland. They prefer African over African American. I guess it's too much of a reminder of the brutality of their ancestors with slavery. Because I don't know if you're not paying attention, but Africans, a lot of them, African Americans, descend from Africans. So I don't know why you're trying to pit one against the other. We don't really care no way. And that's what they don't understand, because they feel like we're not going to jump through hoops for them. But they feel like people who are newer to this country will. And they're right. They're right. So it says, no, Justin didn't get hurt. They did him wrong when they benched him. He was a fan favorite. Okay. We Detroit have a black backup. The one that's played 68 yards in 2 years, Herndon Hooker. Hell, they were trying to send him to, they were trying to swap him out for Shedeur, which was basically trying to say Shedeur's only worth a 5th round pick. It never happened. And they were going to take Herndon and make him a developmental QB. Now, true, coming out of college, Herndon from Tennessee, I think, was injured. So, yeah, he probably did need to kind of sit a little bit. But 68 yards in 2 years, and he's a backup, and J.J. McCarthy, absolutely zero film, 0 NFL film. And they're ready to hand him the keys. And he ranked number 9 out of the quarterbacks in the 2025 season, behind Cam Ward. And that's something. But they made sure to say at the end of Cam Ward's story about him being ranked number 8, but it's not confirmed he's going to be the starter because there's a competition. See, the black quarterbacks have to compete. Yep. And we Detroit fans can't stand him. Who y'all can't stand, Bridget? I agree, Jerry. Oh, okay. If somebody in the comments misbehaving, it's a lot of y'all with tools. Please use them. Don't let nobody disrupt the chat. I'm Ron Burgundy. It says starting his own league is the last thing the white people in charge want. It's the same reason they secretly got rid of the Negro leagues. They don't want competition and they want to be controlled. And that's why they need to start it. That's why I said what's happening to Shedeur and Cam ought to be motivation for them to do exactly that. That's why they're not going to cut neither one of them. That's why they're going to pass. Well, not Cam. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But Shedeur, they already said his QB comp is Geno Smith. That's just code. If you read the message, we going to move you to a new team every year and hold you back and use you to block other people. You don't matter to us. They're not going to change their minds about Shedeur. He don't need to do nothing different. Shedeur was trained by Jeff Blake and Tom Brady. Yep. In fact, they were calling him Lil Brady this week. That's his new nickname for a lot of people on social media on X. Lil Brady. Even the facility pointed out he's just like Tom Brady. And they're gone. They're gone. He will not go back. It said, you are on 100% about your theory of discouraging young black players from being QBs. Yeah, they're trying to go back to that time period where, what was that, the late 80s? Was that in the 80s when they had these kids who were making it? They were emerging from high school as quarterbacks. It was like the trend at the time. And they were switching these kids off before they left college. They might have played college in QB, but they were switching them off to the NFL. And that's what they were doing to Marlon Briscoe, a whole lot of people. Terrell Pryor, as talented as he was at Ohio State, the numbers he had, oh, bro, they devalued him with that whole scheme. That's why he and the other guys were suing them. So, Cleveland prefers African and Haitian. Oh, okay, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, thank you for that. It says FBAs will resist injustice naturally. The others tend to do right because when you're not from this country, you tend to try to appease so you could be accepted. But see, I don't know the people that thought black people were immigrants. They need to go back to school and pick up a book or turn on a YouTube University or something. Because I don't know how you ever thought that. So yeah, we just different, and sometimes they hate us for it, but now they see. Judy. Oh, see, now there you go. There you go. What did I say about Judy the other day? I said I like him. I said, but he fumbling all over himself on Nightcap, trying to explain, trying not to say what he thinks about the quarterback. See, these guys don't understand. See, they in a race for being the third class citizen. They already try to treat us like we second class and we fight back. But when you accept third class citizenship, when you think, oh, I'm going to be quiet because I see how they treated black people, oh, they coming for you. And we're going to get the hell right on out the way because you didn't protect me. See, Shedeur is learning who's who. He's learning the culture in the NFL. All these guys, Judy been up to see you. Myles Garrett is supposedly quoted as saying we need a younger QB if we want to go further. Why is it that he can speak, but Judy can't? I think they're scared of Myles Garrett because of his size. I think they're scared of Ty Bowles because of his. That's just what I think. Yep, Herndon was injured and he needs development. That's why we got Teddy Bridgewater. Is he still there? They said we can't stand Benedict Ben Johnson. Oh, Chicago's coach. Okay, Bridget. Thank you for that. If they are trying to discourage, it's not working. No, because I saw some guys in Georgia. Black players, they are all quarterbacks. They are these guys, I'm telling you, see, they playing themselves. And the NFL is making themselves look so outdated. I'm telling you, they playing themselves. Some of these guys that's not even coming out next year. Hell, they said Archie Manning went from I'm coming out, not coming out next year. I'm gonna be at UT for 2 more years. So leave me alone. You see how he feel? There are other players that feel that way. That's why Shedeur and Cam, they have the money. And Shedeur got his father. Maybe his father can't do it. And then again, he can. Coach Prime was out there today. He was out there. He looked good. He was in his golf cart. They was rolling by. It's on my Instagram. He was rolling by. The cameraman was on the back. The music, the bass was jumping. And I said, Colorado is happy to have their leader back. You could see it in the cameraman's smile when he was filming something else. He was just on the back of the golf cart. They happy to have that man back. They see. They said Coach Hart told the players, I don't want no excuses. I got a man out here with 8 toes and a new bladder. So you're going to need to do it. I know that's right. I know that's right. He got 8 toes and no bladder. And he made himself come all the way back. Man. Doing the wheel was the easiest part of that journey. He still, for the longest, had a catheter. I was watching part 3 today. I said I won't talk about it tonight. So we probably going to get ready to get out of here. And we're probably going to come back in about 30 minutes and look at Coach Prime part 3 when they were at the house with Snow, when Miss Lauren was telling his daughter for the first time that her dad has bladder cancer. And, Bucky was filming. Snow was trying to get to Lauren while she's releasing the fluids and containing them or trapping them in another device. I was like, girl, if you don't get that little boy, I was like, because he on the prowl, and why is he scoot with one leg? I was like, we're about to be walking. And it's funny to me because he's getting ready to be 1. I think they said the same day as Coach Prime's birthday, August 9th. So that was awesome if she had the opportunity to plan that, when the baby was actually born. Pretty good. Pretty good. That's something, her father will never forget and will live on with them. Coach Prime was trying to find land to put houses on the property. He want to keep everybody together. It said Teddy was recently suspended. Oh, yeah. We talked about that for helping those kids. Yeah. The fans want him to come back. Yeah. Sad situation. He already walking. So he is walking, simply, Sarah. I saw him scooting with one leg and pulling up on the table. So when I saw that, and that probably was filmed some time ago. So yeah, he probably made the transition to walking. Because when you see them with one leg, it's not long. It's not long. So he's already walking. I haven't seen the latest footage. But we're probably going to watch part 3 in a little bit. Just kind of react to it. Just like we did the other 2. Oh, he's walking well. Okay. I wonder how long before we see him running the field at CU or walking on the field. He's already been out there. But I meant, like, is his daughter going to stay? It seemed like she's going to stay in Dallas. Bucky goes back to Colorado. Because what we're looking at was previously filmed. So that's what I'm thinking. She stays in Dallas and Bucky goes back. So we're going to see Snow at the games for sure. So he'll be out there running around. That's the part I want to see. He's 11 months old. He's getting ready to turn 1. Okay. Okay, good. Well, yeah, right on time. Right on time. That's about right. That's about right. So we'll look at part 3. I went through the comments. I think I got everybody. Thank y'all so much. This was pretty eye-opening. I hope everybody's on the same page. That's the goal of this. Even one other podcaster was telling his audience, look, I don't want y'all to be worried. And I said the same thing, and I know y'all not worried. I just try to make sure y'all know where we are on the map. You are here. We're at the Voices Aloud, not just from the fans, but from the media also, to trade Shedeur Sanders, with the media coming up with a hypothesis of the Jets. I just showed you that he can't go anywhere. I showed you what's at stake, that it's with all the momentum that typically comes with a franchise QB like Shedeur being available. You usually have people trying to get them. You don't see that. That should be a message to you that the collusion is continuing, not just post-draft, but in his next destination also. Because if people could get him, they would have by now, just like in the draft. All right. Oh, thank you, Bridget. That was nice. Thank you. It said, enjoyed the show. It's Leo season. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all later. We'll be back probably in about 30 minutes. To watch part 3. Grab some dinner and I'll be back. Snow was walking on DeAndre's YouTube page. Okay, I saw her do like a white party or the white dress event. I haven't watched it, but it popped up on my TV. So I'm going to start this. Thank you for the support. I'll see y'all later. Now that we all on the same page, I'll see y'all in about 30 minutes. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. See y'all in a bit.
Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.